everyone, it's Aaliyah Orozco with Title Sports Network, and I'm joined now with the one and only Stephen Espinoza. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. What's there not to be fantastic about with a fight card like this?
I know, we're back in Vegas, another highly anticipated fight, Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin. Can you break down what you see going down Saturday night?
Well, look, you've got two really strong, athletic, young fighters. Frank Martin has not been tested at this level before. Tank has been in the big fights. He's been in the title fights. So there's a bit of a question mark. But physically, Frank Martin's really strong, got a lot of skills. He's got the backing of two, strong figures in the sport in trainer Derek James and his promoter Errol Spence, who've had their own share of big fights. So whatever inexperience Frank has on the big fight stage, he more than makes up for it behind the scenes with Errol and Derek guiding him.
That's a great way of putting it. And I saw that Timothy Bradley said that he thinks that Frank Martin's actually like Frank Martin is the most athletic fighter that Gervonta has ever shared the ring with. Would you agree with that?
I think he's 100% right. Frank's a really great athlete, has speed, strength, good power. It'd be tough to come up with another athlete that Tank has faced. Ryan's a really good athlete, obviously really fast, really strong. But Frank is really compact, really strong, really quick. All-around athleticism, you probably have to give it to Frank Martin. He's probably, I think, one of the stronger opponents that Tank has had in his career, right up there with the level of Ryan Garcia.
Definitely agree. And I know that a lot of people say that Gervonta's, the face of boxing, he's at the top of the pound-for-pound list. Would you agree with that? Because, Errol Spence just said that he hasn't really fought anybody. Do you think he has deserved that spot, or he hasn't really shared the ring with really big names to deserve it?
You can only fight who you get the opportunity to fight. So you judge him on what his performance is in the ring, the danger for Tank is he makes everything look easy. So going into the fight, everybody says, oh, this is a good test, this is a good test. Then afterwards, they look a little bit ordinary or Tank gets a dominating win, and then all of a sudden, people revise their opinion. It was like that with the Pedraza fight. That was supposed to be a really tough one. Tank dominated that. It's a really solid win, but people say, okay, well, it wasn't the challenge that we thought. Same with the Ryan Garcia, fight. People look back, and now seeing the performance against Ryan Haney, now people are now looking and saying, wow, that was a really dominant performance by Tank. So, I think Tank is going to get the big fights, but, the reality is, right now in his division, I don't think there's anybody in the division that he's not a favorite against.
We're going to play a quick game,
okay.
And I want you to blind rank these 5 fighters.
Okay.
The first one is Frank Martin, and it's 1 through 5.
Okay, 1 through 5. I would say, look, if we're saying 5's the highest, and just because I don't give out...
Let's say 1's the highest and 5's the least.
Okay. In terms of 1... Well, if I'm ranking them, in terms of all-around skill and power and everything, look, it's hard to say anybody's perfect, so... first of all, I wouldn't give anybody a 1. I've got to say, based on what we've seen so far from him, I'd say he's in the 1.75-2 range. Okay.
What about Shakur Stevenson?
Shakur, I would put him a notch ahead. I put him like at a 1.5. He's at, in terms of the skill and is, definitely at the top of the division as well.
But if you had to put them on a list, where would you?
Give me all 5 and I'll rank them in order.
Yeah. So the first one was Frank Martin.
Frank, and we're talking about Frank, Shakur.
But I'm not gonna. I'm blind rankings.
Blind rankings. How did I do that? Okay. So to give myself some room, I'm gonna put Frank at 3. Okay.
Okay. And then Shakur Stevenson.
I'll put Shakur 2.
William Zepeda.
I put him at 5.
Lomachenko.
I put him at 4 because...
And then our last one, Gervonta Davis.
I'm biased. I've worked with Tank in a while, but I think in terms of the package that he brings, the intelligence, the power, the athleticism, and especially, at this stage of his career, really hitting his peak, I'd put him, 1 out of 5 there.
That's a great breakdown. So who would you...
Tough.
Right?
That was tough.
That is really
Blind?
tough.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
I'm going to start getting you with these every time now, so get ready for them. I like playing this game.
Okay.
Who would you say is the most exciting fighter in today's boxing world?
Ooh, that's a That's a good one. I mean, for me, the two can't miss fighters are Canelo and Tank. Right now in terms of the excitement in the ring. I'm not going to say that there's not other guys, but look, if you had said 2 or 3 years ago, you'd say Deontay Wilder and Tank. And I'm not saying, let's see, we'll see. I'm only putting Deontay there because we're not sure where he's going to do in the future. He's still got that impressive right hand. But when you talk about fighters who you literally can't turn away from, you can't walk away because you never know something's going to happen. You look back, the two guys who stand out recently, obviously, Deontay Wilder and Gervonta Davis.
Wait, Deontay Wilder?
Well, I mean, if we look at like over the last couple of years, yeah. But right now, today, if you got to say who's a can't miss, must see, that's Tank.
Most definitely. And you brought up Deontay Wilder. What were your thoughts on his last performance against Zhang? And do you think this is time for him to, maybe stop boxing, or you think just keep going with the performances he's had?
Look, Deontay's taking fights at the top of the division. So, it's hard to really be that critical if he loses a couple here or there. It's hard to be critical if he gets, beat by Fury, and with a 60-pound weight advantage if he loses to Zhang. Only Deontay knows how he feels, and how he feels physically and mentally. That's really the question. I'm not one to say, hey, you lose a couple fights, it's time for you to retire. The question is, where's his drive? Where is he physically? Does he really want to do this grind? He's been, at this, going on 20 years.
Yeah.
And at the heavyweight division, that's a lot of punishment. So question is, look, I think the sport is better with him in it. I think there are still big fights available for him. But the question is, what is internally, where does Deontay want right now?
Most definitely. My last question for you is, you brought up the heavyweight division, and we just saw recently the undisputed fight between Fury and Usyk, and now there's going to be the rematch in December. Do you see the fight going any different? And actually, first let's hear that.
I do think it'll be a different fight. That result surprised me a little bit. I didn't think that Usyk could hurt Fury the way he did. But the only reason I say it will be different is because Fury's such a smart fighter.
Yeah.
And it's got a smart corner. So I expect that he's going to come with something different. So the only way it sort of doesn't go differently, and I'm not saying that Fury necessarily wins, but I think he changes it up. If he starts to, get old overnight, as they say. If he's hit the wall and he's just not physically where he needs to be, that's it. But short of that, I'd never really doubt Fury's ability to make adjustments.
Most definitely. Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time. Great to see you too. Thank you, Stephen. Bye, everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Until next time.